Hey everyone, this is Laura at Lyman Joy, and today I'm going to go ahead and do a full yearly closeout and a reflection, as well as my December closeout. You don't want to miss it. Let's get into it. All right, we're here. The last time I used my 2023 planner, the last time that I close out any budget in 2023. I'm super excited to finally finish this out. I'm also going to do a closeout for the entire year and show you how to make some good tweaks to your new coming budget based off of the budget you're finishing this year. Plus, to go over a little bit of a debt and see how I did and how much I actually paid off this year. All right, for those of you that don't know me, I'm Laura from Lyman Joy. I'm a wife, a medical coder, and a mom of 6, and I'm on a journey to become debt-free and break generational cycles of debt so the next generation can live and give like they were meant to. So if that interests you, please subscribe to this Lyman Joy community and hit that bell icon so that you'll be notified every time that I post a video to hopefully inspire you and help you along your debt-free or budgeting journey, especially coming up here in January, where I'm going to give detail how to do a budget on the monthly, how to do it by paycheck so you can get your cash, wallets and cash stuffing done appropriately, and how to close it out step by step. This month, today is going to be a little bit of a fast version just because we're going to focus more on the yearly closeout than the monthly closeout. But stick around for January as I'm going to give you step-by-step instructions. So no matter where you're at in your budget, by the end of January, you should know exactly what to do. All right, so grab your piece of paper, your planner, whatever you have, a cup of tea, coffee, whatever that is, and let's get going into this today. I'll put this off to the side here. So this is my 2023 planner, and I'm just going right to my closeout. I'm going to show you, if you're not familiar with my planner, I start the month every month with I'm going to push this back a little bit, with a budget overview. I've already filled out some of this for you. I just really wanted to make it simplistic and easy for today because I'm not going to focus so much on the December monthly budget closeout, but more on my yearly reflection so that I can plan for January better. So every month at the beginning, I do a budget of what I think I'm going to actually make and what my bills I think are going to be based off of the last month and based off of my budget overview, which I do at the beginning of the year. And if you saw my video yesterday, you saw how I kind of plan it out. So I just pick my bills and put it in there and adjust throughout the year. After I have done that, then I've done my budget by paycheck 3 times in a month, and that's how I do my cash stuffings. And now at the end of the month, I put my actual numbers in. So this is actually what came out of my checking account for my bills, groceries, and gasoline. And I figured this out by my closeout. Let me show you here. My monthly check-in, but my weekly closeouts. So every week, so 12/1 to 12/8, I calculated what I spent on groceries, gasoline, and anything extra. I did that again on 12/9, and so on and so forth, as you can see. And I leave 5 weeks in there because there is some months that have 5 weeks and some that have only 4. Now, here's my total. If it's in red, that means I overspent. And if it's in green, that means I underspent. Okay? And extra should never be there, so it's always red. I kind of changed this up a little bit. I used to just do it on an expense tracker sheet, but I wanted to have a kind of more of a breakdown week by week there. Okay? So I've done my weekly check-ins, and this is the total of it. I put it on my actual budget now. I actually made $12,245. My budget was $11,000. And as you can see, I was over on groceries, but under on gasoline, which is fantastic because it kind of balanced out. I put my total income, my total expenses, and my leftover of $2,942. And now I am going to show you what I do after that. So after I do all that planning, then I go to my budget closeout. This is very similar to my monthly budget. So again, at the beginning of the month, I did that monthly budget, and I actually have like pretty much the same form where I plan out where all that extra money is going. Now I'm going to see and make sure all that money actually went there. And that's what this monthly budget closeout is going to be. So I've pulled these numbers from my 3 cash stuffings. So as you can see, here's one of them where I combo 2 of my paychecks. And here's another one. Again, comboing 2 of my paychecks, and then my first paycheck and cash stuffing right here. Okay, so I've gone already to save some time to each of these, and I've pulled the numbers from my debt snowball. I've pulled my numbers from my sinking funds and so forth. And I've put the numbers right here. So first cash stuffing on my debt snowball was $1168, then it was $404, and then it was $400, equaling $1972. And what I budgeted, my monthly budget for this, was going to be $1,200. So now we're going to figure out what our overs and unders are. Right before we do that, though, I want to figure out what we budgeted. My budgeted income was, knocking stuff around here, was $11,200. So $11,200 was my income. My bills were budgeted for $9,411. $9,411. My debt snowball was going to be $1,200. So here we go. Debt snowball $1,200. Cash envelopes I budgeted $300 for. Okay. My sinking funds I budgeted for $210. And what I had left over was $79 that I gave to my savings challenges. And I didn't budget anything in extra spending, so this should equal 0. Let's make sure if I did it right back then. Otherwise, it is what it is now. Let's see here. 1,200 minus the 300 minus 210 minus 79. Yep, that was 0. So we had 0 left over and a zero-based budget that was budgeted at the beginning of the month. Now, at the end of the month, let's see how we did. My income was actually $12,245. $12,245. And this was with a lot of side hustles and a lot of extra. I do, of course, YouTube here, but digital downloads and babysitting, and I'm always looking to make and sell things on the side, and my husband does as well. So we're constantly kind of hustling to see what we can do to bring that extra money in to pay more money on our debt, which is really important to us. My bills were actually $9,303. So right here, $9,303. My debt snowball ended up to be actually $1972. $1972. And let's just stop really quick and see. So $1972 minus the $1,200 I had planned puts me over, remember, green is over and red is under, puts me over $772. It's kind of hard to see that it's green, but it is. So that is fantastic and exciting. Now my cash envelopes were $360 here. I had a little extra income like you saw, so I put a little extra towards childcare because I knew I was doing, Christmas shopping and things like that. So I needed a little extra. So we had 360 minus 300. So I spent an extra $60 here. So I'm going to go ahead and put that there. Now for sinking funds, I planned 210 and I did 210. So I wasn't under or over. So that's fantastic. And then savings challenges, I actually had 400 in savings challenges. So I was 400 minus 79. I had an extra, I put an extra $321 towards that. Just like I put an extra $60 towards that, I put extra $321 towards that. Okay, so I paid extra to all these categories and I wasn't under in any of them. I would be more concerned if I was under in any of these. I would be asking myself, where did that money go? Because I was over in my money. Okay, and then my extra spending, which I certainly didn't budget for either. We'll go right there. Okay. So 12,245 minus 9,303 minus 1972 minus 360 minus 210 and then minus 400. It does give me 0. All right. So there is that for the closeout. And again, I'm going to go much more in detail in January and how to close out properly and what my thought process is behind it. But I just want to do it quickly. Now to move on to the yearly reflection and overview and close out for the year. When you're closing out for the year, or at least for me, this is what I think about. How did I do? How did you do? So while I'm thinking about that, I'm looking mostly at my check-ins because they are really good reflections, and I'm looking at my closeouts, okay? Those are the two things I think that are really show tried and true how you did. Now, I only have up until August in this planner because I actually switched over kind of mid-year to this one versus the one that I really like from Beautifully Me and You. Hers is fantastic as well. So we're just going to look over the last few months and see how did I do? And that's what I'm asking you to do. Look at your last 6 months or so and say to yourself, how did you do? Okay. So in August, this is August one right here, I was over in groceries, under in gas, and over in extra. Okay. And again, if you don't have a closeout, then my suggestion to you is to look at the budgeted, like monthly, how much you budget, how much you actually spent, and that you can quickly see like, how did it go? What were you over and under on? I just like to have the nice like overview of it, that I was over, under. I also like to look at this. Okay. I have all green here. That means I did over on all of those. It's pretty good. You'll clearly see here in a moment where it did not go well. Okay. There was a few months here. I was green in groceries and over on my gasoline and extras. And when you look at my closeout, you can see though, I still put extra in each spot, but I also did extra in my groceries, and my gasoline here and my extra spending. Okay. So it's good that I did do extra, but I also spent extra there. Then if you look at my next month, this was a hard month for me. I don't know if you're around at this time, but I had some emergencies with my kiddo. And so it put me over on stuff, but over on groceries, over on gasoline, and over on extras. Clearly I could see red, and red. And, but I did have extra to put towards my other things. So even though I didn't do well in these categories, thank goodness I kept doing well in these categories. So next off, I really wanted to hone it in this month because I didn't do well the month before. So I had a no spend challenge, eat out of my pantry. And if you can see, I worked really hard to do this and I met all of my goals in the green. And so naturally, all of my goals are nice here as well. And then as you just saw, my very last month, here I'm over on groceries, under on gasoline, and over on extra. So looking back, I definitely had some wins and some losses. I really was sitting and thinking about, okay, for me, what can I do better next year? What can I refine? There is definitely a few things that I want to change a little bit on how I do closeouts to make them more simplistic, which you'll see in January when I go over it. But looking at the closeouts, I wanted to do more meal planning. Clearly, I keep overspending in groceries. At the beginning of last year, I was really good at using my Emeals, which is just an app that helps you plan your meals out, every single ingredient. I would take that and I would, you can put it into Walmart. I think Kroger, Vons, there's tons of different grocery stores you can transfer that email list to. Anyway, and then I did a Walmart pickup and I applied those points to Fetch and made money off of them. Somewhere in the middle of like June, July, August, I got a little off track and it shows in my budget because I'm almost over on my groceries every single month. So especially with the economy, the way the economy is and the way the grocery prices are going up, I need to stay frugal. I'm going to show you exactly how I'm going to do that in January because it is time to really hone in on how to save money on groceries. So I want to do more meal planning in 2024. Let me take a sip of this coffee. Sorry guys, I'm coming down with a cold. Yeah, so next is I need to add in extra cushion on bills. So as you saw, all but 1 month, I spent extra spending. Things happened. Like this month, Plexus. I used to do Plexus. I haven't done Plexus for like 6 months. It's this vitamin subscription gut health thing. And I forgot about it. Completely forgot about it because I silenced the subscription and it came through and it messed me up. Of course, I canceled it and it caused me to go look into each of my credit cards to make sure nothing was auto paid, that it shouldn't be auto paying. but I didn't plan for it. So from now on, I am going to do a $50 cushion. I'm going to add this into my bills. And I suggest that if you have the money to do it, you do it too. Add it into your bills. So when the extras come, you're not in trouble. And when they're not there, you're growing this beautiful cushion for any problems that pop up. Okay. Next, I want to give my money more specific jobs during planning. And I did do this if you were around for my my savings challenges, my sinking funds, and my cash wallet planning, which if you haven't seen it, I'll link it above. You need to plan them out for the next year. I did give my money more specific places to go because if you saw, I had all this extra money that I'm doing in savings challenges, which is great, but it needs to make sure that it's fully funding these ones more and these ones more so that then I can move on appropriately to the savings challenges. Like I need to make sure I'm dealing with priority number 1 before I'm dealing with priority number 2. I don't think I'm wasting my money either way, but it just needs to go to the correct home first before it goes to the spillover. So I'm going to stick to the plan that I made for my sinking funds and have my money just a little more calculated out so that I'm not, putting it to things maybe that is not the highest priority. And then last up, I'm going to track and be more intentional with my debt payoff this year. So on my debt payoff, which was fabulous, if you were around and saw, it was really a game changer to use this debt journal, and I am creating another one for the new year. It should come out in January if you're interested, or if you're still in your debt, free journey, because it was so powerful for me. I created this really great plan by the Vertex 482 calculator, and then I was able to save quite a bit. Let's see how much I actually ended up saving. In June, when I started it, it was $300, and then and I was doing a debt snowball before this, but this is just when I started the journal. So $300. And then $1,100 in July. August was great. I had some extra side income come in. I think it was a bonus. I can't remember. And so that was $3,100. Oh, it was my husband's summer. He taught in the summer and got extra pay. September, we did $1,300. Because again, my debt snowball is $1,200. So anything over that, I'm throwing at it. Here he got a bonus. So it was $2,400. And then November, just some side hustles and things put us at $1,798. And then for December, it was $1,972. So again, some more side hustles and things I threw at it. So $11,970 since June I had paid on this. And before that, my $1,200 snowball was being done. So let's do that. Let's see. 11,970. Let's see, 1,200 times, we started in June, so only 5 months before June, plus 11,970, so $17,970. I'm going to write that right here, just so I can remember. $17,970 debt payoff in 2023. And I'm super excited because I have it calculated out that I actually want to almost double that. We'll have to see how I do. I'm excited about my new debt journal that I'll release that will hopefully motivate me to keep on going. But as you reflect on yours, I just really want you to look back, look at your budgets, look at where you did well, look at what you didn't do well, create a plan going forward in your next 2024 year for year planning so that you can be more successful. Follow me along in January as I kind of refine, break down, and simplify the monthly budget, the paycheck by paychecks, and the closeouts, which I'm changing a little bit just to make them a little easier to understand and simplistic. And as always, I want you to please find joy in your journey. And I'll put a video here that will hopefully inspire you in your next planning for the next year. And of course, I'll see you next time.